Hi. Little known fact about me is that I love bullet hells. And by that, I mean I unfortunately play an unhealthy amount of Touhou and maybe throw in some Lenin project as well. Does that mean I'm good at them? I have done a normal 1cc for a couple of them, of course, but by all means, I'm not very good at bullet hells. But in my defense, I still think they're fun, and I enjoy the high challenge. I don't find them very frustrating, and no, I will not be uploading any of my runs onto this YouTube channel. They're embarrassing. Another fact about me that you should know is that I am unfortunately also still an avid Roblox player, if you can believe that. Yeah, don't look at my recent uploads. Yeah, don't do that. So imagine my surprise when there's this little game on Roblox called SylByte, which is a pretty neat bullet hell. As to my knowledge, I haven't really seen this kind of game on Roblox, which I have been secretly hoping that someone would come along and make it, so this is a nice surprise. The background footage you see is of me beating each of the current bosses as of this recording on insane mode, which is the current hardest difficulty in the game. Full transparency, these bosses were beaten individually. I cannot do an insane boss rush. I am not that good. VA took me like 38 attempts. It was that bad. SylByte, as you can guess, is very much inspired by Touhou. It uses sound effects from Touhou into the game directly as well, so it wears that proudly on its sleeve, basically. There's a bunch of colorful characters and lore. It's a single-player Roblox game made by Ezra and a few other people, which should be shown on screen. Now you might be wondering, is the game as difficult as Touhou? No. If you can do lunatic runs on Touhou with no sweat, I doubt this game would really appeal to you difficulty-wise. I of all people can beat the hardest difficulty. Just ignore all the lives I lost in these successful runs that I've recorded. Bosses only have 3 to 4 lives and patterns accordingly. They're pretty short fights if I must say so myself. There aren't any stages leading up to the bosses either. You get 4 to 3 lives as well, depending on your difficulty of course. The low difficulty relative for bullet hell is kind of the point, if you'll bear with me. How else is little Timmy gonna beat this bullet hell if he's only seen Undertale? I think he would die trying to 1cc Perfect Cherry Blossom on normal. Safe to say, the average Robloxian isn't exactly a shmuphead, so... And well, because of that, unfortunately this also means the bullet patterns are relatively simple for a game that wears proudly on its sleeve that's mainly inspired by Touhou. Just to be clear, this isn't a criticism against the game. I don't mind the difficulty. I still find some of it challenging at points. But if you do want more of a challenge, this game's got modifiers, which you'll have to buy from the shop. I'll explain that later. There's also general quality of life stuff that I enjoy. You can turn on auto shoot, hold to focus, change your movement speeds, even change your hitbox color. You can also skip cutscenes if you're in a pinch for time. Though the sound toggles and the settings menu is pretty simple. I'm sure they'll update that later. As of currently, there are no keybind settings. This will all likely get changed in a future update. So I mentioned a certain shop which you can buy modifiers from. Well, yeah, being a Roblox game, this does have its own currency system. They're called echoes. You earn them by beating bosses, and you get more if you play on harder difficulties or with certain modifiers. It's an alright system. I don't really have any strong feeling on it. I understand replayability is important. The last thing that affects the amount of echoes you get from a run is the race you play as. It's classes. They're classes. Essentially bullet types, which you also have to purchase from the shop. Some of them being way more busted than the others. So what does spacebar do if it doesn't activate a bomb of sorts? Well, that's your ability of course, which you have to charge up by hitting the bosses with your bullets. What your ability does is also linked with the race or class you pick. It can do helpful stuff like making you invulnerable to bullets, doing more damage, or just faster fire rate. It can definitely help to come in clutch, which I have used. And here's the part where I put things I can't put into a solid category.
It's very nice how you can interact with the characters in the menu screens. Wise practice mode, a modifier that you have to purchase for 50 echoes. Running into bullets while invincible after dying doesn't remove them from the battlefield. The invincibility period is a bit too long after dying. Some patterns will have borders that limit your movement to a certain area, but I find that the borders sometimes are too transparent to actually see. Maybe I just have bad eyes.
Whew. Yeah, that should be about it. Overall, I think SylByte is a pretty fun game. It's a nice starting off point for people who want to play Touhou, but I guess you don't want to actually get the game and you also happen to be a Roblox player. And for an average Roblox player who doesn't play bullet hells, maybe this might help them get a footing into the genre. Huge props to the developers of this game, and I hope it does well in the future. The links to this game and its Discord are down below. Bye bye!